I'm a mission manager at SpaceX. So what does a mission manager do? What does that mean? So we have a bunch of satellite operators, satellite manufacturers, national agencies like NASA and individual international space agencies that want to launch a spacecraft and put it in space. And so they come to us and ask us to do that for them, to execute that launch service, and there's a contract that goes along with that. So my job as a mission manager is to manage that contract and execute the terms of that agreement. I'm also responsible for the technical interface of that spacecraft with the launch vehicle. So a little engineering, a little program management. How I got to SpaceX is kind of a fun story, at least I think it is. It's my story. I started out with an internship at the Jet Propulsion Lab many years ago, and that's where the planetary exploration bug really set in for me. I was tasked with evaluating what technologies are going to be needed for future human missions to Mars that could be demonstrated and developed on precursor missions, on robotic missions that we're flying today. From there, I went to the European Space Agency, and some of you might remember just over a decade ago, President Bush had announced his vision for space exploration right around that time. So it was a super exciting time for the industry. You know, after a period of uncertainty, there was a new plan that everyone could get behind, and we were going back to the moon. And within that, I was fortunate enough still to be able to be part of the team that was developing the European architectures for human lunar exploration and to figure out what our contribution to that was going to be. So, you know, straight out of college, this was possibly the best job I could imagine. And in my 2 years there, you know, as someone really starting, just getting my toes wet in the industry, something kind of became clear to me. And it was sort of the unspoken truth of the situation, which was that the cost of traditional. We'll wait for the pause here.
In the side gallery near the flight zone, we'll be learning about electricity making paper circuits. We hope to see you there.
Okay, so the unspoken truth was that the cost of traditional access to space was prohibitive, and it would probably be the one thing that would really prevent sustainable human presence in space beyond low Earth orbit more than any technical hurdle. And so, you know, that was something, just kind of a seed that was planted in the back of my mind. No one talked about it really. It was just the unsaid thing. Anyway, during that time, I had a couple of great years, but I decided I wanted to get my hands dirty. So my next job was working for a small robotics company located just by the Jet Propulsion Lab in California. And I got my wish, and I got to spend about 5 years building different parts of the Mars Science Lab vehicle. And the highlight of that is that I built the robotic arm that's on the Curiosity rover that's on Mars right now.
Nice.
So that was awesome. And I actually, like, sort of side note, because I'm going to come back to my kids a few times probably today, but I was actually pregnant. I was 9 months pregnant at the time when I built the arm. So there's this great picture of me 9 months pregnant in a full, like, bunny suit. If some of you guys know what that looks like. It was like a triple XL size that could get over my belly, and like standing next to the rover with the robotic arm raised out. And that happened because they wanted a picture to show how big it was, and they decided to use me for scale. So I thought, you're going to use a 5 foot tall, 9 month pregnant woman. That's great. So in any case, that was awesome 5 years, and MSL launched. And but there was this, I guess, lure of a company around the corner that was actively working towards the things that I was passionate about, which was creating affordable access to space and also putting people on Mars. And so that's what brought me to SpaceX, and I've been there for about 5 years. And it's been a really great ride. I've been a mission manager for a couple of missions. I was the mission manager for CR7, which was unfortunately a mission we lost last year, but also since then SES9, which was launched in March successfully this year. And going forward, I have Red Dragon and some of the commercial crew missions, cargo resupply missions. So I'm pretty lucky, and I'm happy to be here and talk to you guys about some of those things today. So thanks for having me.